This is what I ask. Is there another sport in the world on this planet that invokes the type of emotion in people as much as boxing or MMA? I mean, it's like it's the best show ever. You see a good episode of Dexter, and you talk about it with your boys, your friends on Facebook for a day or two, then it's forgotten. Meanwhile, you see a good fight, and people will talk about it for the next 30 years.
Immortality.
Right? But the fucked up thing about the fight game is this, is without fail, your favorite fighter is going to get old. Making matters worse is that he's not going to know it. He's going to stay in the game too long until he gets knocked out by somebody that he would have dominated years before. And somebody's going to make him look bad, and that sucks. Don't believe me? Let's go to the list. Chuck Liddell, arguably the most popular fighter in the history of MMA, combat sports as a whole, been knocked out by Sugar Rashad Evans, knocked out by Rampage Jackson, been knocked out by Keith Jardine. Matt Hughes was knocked out in his last fight against Josh Koscheck, knocked out in 21 seconds by BJ Penn. I can keep going. Fedor Emelianenko, the last emperor, knocked out by Dan Hollywood Henderson, who was a statue at the time, knocked out by Bigfoot Silva. I think you get the point. And the point I'm trying to make, and it's really a mind fuck for me personally, to watch a guy like Bigfoot Antonio Silva, Antonio Nogueira Minotauro, and he gets knocked the fuck out by Roy Nelson. And no disrespect to Roy Nelson, he's a hell of a fighter, you know, but it just sucks to watch your heroes go down like this. But such is life in the world of MMA, in the world of boxing. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I got to say about that. This past weekend, we had Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley, and Pacquiao exacted his revenge after being robbed in late 2012. He won a clear decision in this one, and if you watch that fight, it was a good fight. It looks like Manny Pacquiao may not still be the same fighter that he once was, but he once was arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. At the end of that fight, he reignited the fight that everybody's been talking about and that they want to see over the last 5 years, and that's Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Money Mayweather. Everybody's talking about that fight again.
Pacquiao wouldn't have won that fight if it wasn't for his mother, dude. She did that. You see her doing that curse? You saw the fight,
yeah.
So, you know, if his mother wasn't, I don't know if Pacquiao would have won that fight. I'm just saying. But back to Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao.
No, I think you bring up a good point. She's become like a YouTube sensation, like with that little middle finger. It was like she was middle fingering him, but it was like she had like a Bible in her left hand. So she was like cursing him in the name of Jesus. It was yeah, you're right. She was the star of the whole show. Like, yeah, that was wild, man. That was wild. But then, that's why I say fights, it's the greatest sport. It's the best show ever. When the fight is over, she jumps in the ring, and you see this old Filipino lady, and she's hugging Timothy Bradley, literally hugging him, rubbing his face. You know, she's like a sweet lady, you know what I mean? But if you're fighting her son, the claws came out. It's amazing. The theater of fights invokes emotions that nothing else does. Talk about how long do people talk about basketball games? Kevin Durant put up 50. That's cool. You gonna remember that a week from now? Maybe. How many people remember a basketball game a week from now? Nobody. We're done. You see a nice dunk, you might now a dunk, you can be immortalized from a dunk, but for the most part, you know, it is what it is, you know, and I like basketball too. Back to Manny versus Floyd. People are now talking about Floyd should fight Manny, and that talk had died down after Manny got face planted by Juan Marquez.
Yeah.
But I got news for all the dreamers out there. This fight is a tease. Don't fall for it. It's not going to happen. It's like going to a strip club and expecting to take one of those skanks home. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
What about
Remember,
Pacquiao
like
versus Kalina? That'd be a good fight. That's a very doable fight, I think.
Pacquiao versus who?
Kalina.
Who's that?
Kalina. Or Calieno, or whatever the hell his name is. I don't know. I'm not
Canelo. Hey, oh, okay, I got you. Oh, Canelo. Cinnamon.
Canelo.
Actually,
Yeah.
dude, that's a fight that would do some money. That's a good point because remember about a year and a half ago, everybody was saying boxing is dead. MMA is here, UFC is here, boxing is dead. That's what they said, right? But you're right. Canelo and Floyd, they did 2 million buys last September. Take that. Boxing's dead, right? You know, so goodbye conventional wisdom.
Well, in UFC's defense, boxing does charge $20 more than the UFC pay-per-view. I'm just saying.
And they still sell more. So that's more to my point is that boxing's not dead. That's a ridiculous number, 2 million buys. First of all, UFC has never done more than 1.5 or even 1.2 for that matter, which was UFC 100, Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir. But Floyd Mayweather did 2 million buys. That's ridiculous. It takes the UFC 6 pay-per-views to do 2 million buys. Right? Boxing's not dead. Why does boxing still sell? It's not because it's being handled right. It's because at the end of the day, people really, from the beginning of time, people have enjoyed watching two people punch each other in the face.
This is true.
Moving right along, man. We've been gone for a minute. You know, we've been steady on our grind, though. We had it's been fun, man. The month of March was fun. March 2nd, we were out at Feather Falls Casino for the IFC Warrior Challenge. Had a good time hooking up with Paul Smith, an MMA legend. What was your highlight of that trip, man?
Man, it was such a good card. It's hard to say. Like Nick Horring, which is the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu guy, had a first-round submission. There was the brutal Native American heavyweight challenge. Just it was crazy. But if I had to choose one out of all the fights that I was impressed with, I'd have to say Brandon Rochetti winning the lightweight title by submission. He was like a way smaller guy, but he was so technical, and his jiu-jitsu was like poetry in motion. Congrats to the champ.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Brandon Rochetti, nice dude. For me, I have to say, getting a chance to network with Paul Smith, and I have to take my head off to him. Yeah, for his accumulation of ring card talent. Without a doubt, the baddest girls in the industry. If you haven't already checked out the pictures on our Instagram page, Fightline Sports, do so now, or go to our website, which is Fightline Sports Network, and you'll see what we're talking about. I really couldn't describe it for you. You got to see it for yourself. It was cakes towards camera all night, and gosh damn, Paul Smith, you the man, brother. After that event, 2 weeks later, we hit up Petaluma to go watch Fightline's own Jesse Young Henderson put in work, where he won the 135-pound strap. Shout out to the Henderson brothers. They'll be on the show later on this week. There we had a chance to rub elbows with MMA legends again, this time with Frank and Ken Shamrock. And actually, I got to say, the highlight of that trip for me was seeing Frank Shamrock without his braces. Nice grill.
I just want to say, like, on behalf of everybody at Fightline Sports, I want to say a shout out to Stephanie and her family. There's this little girl, the fights were actually put together to raise money for this girl who's fighting against cancer. She's 7 years old, so shout out to her. We hope her a quick recovery. But back to the event, there's lots of great fights, the beginning to end. Jesse Young Henderson won the title. It was awesome. Met lots of legends who were there to social support. It was a really cool event.
It was. One thing that I didn't like is that they were shooting the reality show for Rampage's new show, Fight Court. And that was cool to be there for that, but when Rampage was in the ring, they actually stopped him and had him redo his lines. So it showed me that reality shows are fake. And it was kind of sad because it shows me that my favorite show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, is actually just a poorly written sitcom.
Well, I thought even though it was fake, it was entertaining. Rampage told the crowd that he was going to maybe have to do a couple takes, and he threatened to hop out of the ring and beat him up if we laughed at him. So that was actually pretty irritating to me.
Yeah, he said that shit. He's gonna jump out the ring and beat everybody up. But I asked him if he would put to punch me in the face, and he refused.
I can only imagine what it was like on the set of the A-Team movie. How many takes a Rampage have to make?
Yeah, he's not in the fight game because he decided to not go to law school or the medical school, right? now, we're talking about some smaller events, and we tell you this because I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I want everybody out there to understand that Fightline Sports is really about covering the future stars of MMA. You want to watch an expose on Anderson Silva? Go to ESPN. You want to see a special about John Jones and his new puppy? Go to UFC.com. We are here. Fightline Sports is here. We exist to bring shine to the guys who are out there busting their ass to make a name for themselves. Guys fighting to put a food on the table. Talking guys like Max Payne Griffin, local legends like El Kukui, Jamie Hara, guys like Dave Mitchell, like Fairfield's finest Freddie Biggs, like Fightline's Jesse Young Hitterson, like the Savage Benito Lopez. These are the guys who we exist to cover.
Tell me where to go, tell me what to do. I'll be right there for you. Tell me what to say, no matter if it's true. I'll say it all for you.